And they were taken quite suddenly, and they were put in another system where they had to learn humility, where their lives were actually made very hard, and that they had to see the folly of their own ways. So they were dismissed, taken from this planet. As I said to you, some felt that they'd done enough and they had to leave the planet evolve as it was always, intended to, so that it would evolve and watch what happened. But some wanted to control what was happening and wanted to be treated as gods, and those could not be allowed to stay here. They were allowed for some time to see if their ways would change, but they didn't. And I do think that you, being in Greece, you would, and I said to you, were very, very good with sports. And I feel that you had two lives in Greece. One was earlier than the one I've talked about, because I don't know if Greece fascinates you or not, and, the knowledge that the ancient Greeks had. Because if everything had been as it should have been, and I think in those early days, you were part of the, to call it a Star Trek, the away team who came down. But you saw your colleagues, for want of a better word, really enjoying the power that they had. But when you observed what was happening, it was very, very sad, because it could have been so wonderful, and if it had carried on and those people hadn't turned power hungry, this world would be traversing the stars now. They would have had the most wonderful technology, and what is happening on this earth would never have happened. But they turned to what I would call the dark side of power. And so they had to be taken away. It wasn't really punishment as such, but it was to take them away from the experiment and to put them somewhere where they had to learn all over again that although they were treated as gods and they were superhuman beings, that where they had gone, they were going to be treated differently, and they had to be more humble and more appreciative of what they were intended to do, because their work was not to stand there and be bowed down to, or to live a life of luxury while most of the people, who actually worshipped them were poor and struggling. That was not the way it should have been. They should have been educators. And unfortunately, a few stopped being that. And as I said again, the same with some of the ancient Egyptians. I think one of the interesting stories, if you want to call it that, or legends of the ancient Egyptians was Nefertiti, because she was Akhenaten's wife and possibly the mother of Tutankhamun, people say, but that's not really how you should say it. But she loved the power that she had. She really did. But she came from nowhere. Nobody knows where she came from. And during her marriage, she actually disappeared for a few years. And that's when Akhenaten actually married someone else. But she returned. Nobody knew where she'd gone. Nobody knew, how she went and how she came back and everything. But she was a star visitor who went back and came back again. And she changed. She didn't live a very long life, but she had changed. And I think that she was asked to go back so that she could be re-educated into what she was wanting to do, or what she was supposed to do here on this planet. And I think that she was going to do that with her son. And but unfortunately, he died when he was about 18 or 19. And nobody's truly found her grave anywhere. They're thinking now that something may have been built beyond Tutankhamun's burial chamber, but they've yet to explore that. So there are a lot of mysteries and a lot of things which happened which have been difficult. But I feel that some of the things I've talked about, and sorry, do have to excuse my voice, I'm really struggling now. I think that you might feel that they resonate with you because you have been here to try so hard to observe, and by your observation, to be able to feed back to your home what is needed. And then these can telepathically, that is actually quite primitive, but information can go back and actually be fed back to the people who are on this planet now. Because this planet has to ascend. This is why it is going into this energetic density change. And if it doesn't, then it will be destroyed. But I have great faith that it will continue and that it will actually right itself. Because there are people like you, there are others like you on this planet who will be doing something about it. So, Edward, I don't know what you'll think about what I've said. And I'm just hoping that you will feel that some things do resonate with you. I'm not asking you to take everything as gospel, but I am telling you honestly what I see and what I feel. And it's interesting, just before I finish it, I know I'm running over time, but when you said the lowest temperature ever recorded on Earth occurred 3 days after your birth, and it was on July the 21st, 1983, minus 89.2 centigrade. My word, I think that was connected with your coming onto this planet again. Anyway, I'll leave it at that and hope that it will help you to understand. So I'll say bye-bye for now. Bye-bye.